Hi guys, welcome to the channel. So here we go, we've had the new Fractal update which is going to give us a new expedition, which is the Utopia Foundation expedition. I'm quite excited about this one. There's a little bit of lore in it from what I've been led to believe. So here we go, we're going to crack on. So we need to go into the Community Expedition tab. We've got 5 weeks to do this left now, so we've got plenty of time to do it. It's not a hard expedition if you plan ahead a little bit. It's quite a good one actually, this. Bit of work to do on the first planet, but once we get going, we rock and roll guys. It's pretty easy this one, and there's some awesome little rewards. So here we go, we're going to crack on. Let's crack this and see what it's like. So here we go, we start as we normally start for any game, initialize the expedition. This is number 9, isn't it, I think, the Utopia Foundation. I'm intrigued to see what the Utopia Foundation's all about, because from what I've read online so far, there's a little bit of lore in here. It'd be interesting to see what they're doing. So as usual, we're going to be starting off on our first planet. We get a little sneaky peek to see what it looks like. It looks like quite a nice planet, to be fair. It doesn't look like a hostile one at all. Looks like a lush or a paradise or something like that. So the aim of the game is to complete all of the titles that we get given, collect the phase rewards, and then at the end of it we'll collect all the big expedition rewards. There's a really cool fighter that we're going to get as well. There's also like a Star Warsy Darth Vader kind of helmet. There's been quite a few comments online actually, because it's quite Star Wars theme. It looks a bit like a snow speeder, the ship. So here we go, expedition number 9, Utopia. Let's crack on. It's going to give us a few little bits and bobs in a second. It's going to tell us what we want to do. So here we go. That's my guy. I always seem to get that guy. Utopia Foundation's restoration of the Bakin system has begun. The expedition tracks your progress through their grand construction project. During this expedition you can only craft products or install technologies while in a base. Right, okay, so that is within the base limits of the base computer, not technically inside the base. Although you do have to build shelters in it, you can be cheeky. There's a 300 U radius around your base computer, so you are able to craft in that 300 U radius. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to nip over to network, and at the moment I've got all my cross-player turned off, my multiplayer turned off. I'm doing it offline like that, off multiplayer, because I find that it crashes less if I do that. But if you want to play multiplayer and you don't want people to attack you, just make sure your PvP's turned off. Like you see, you can turn your cross-platform on in your multiplayer if you want to see everybody else, but we're going to leave it off just so that we don't blue screen, because it tends to happen a lot in expeditions, doesn't it? So here we go. First thing we need to do on phase 1 is establish a base. So we'll just pin that. That's in. We've already got the equipment that we need to do it, so we'll just find a nice little spot here, a little bit more level ground. If you can, try and plant yourself around as many large rocks and as many of the yellow plants that you can see, because later on they're going to be really useful, because you can get 2 items from them, which saves you having to dig around and collect dihydrogen and carbon and ferrite and pure ferrite and oxygen. They'll actually give you a bit of both. So here we go, we'll slap our base computer down. So researching. It checks to make sure there's no prior settlement attempts on the site. If anybody else's base is down, you're not going to be able to plant yours. You just have to find yourself a free bit of space. But we're all normally spread out enough, so it should be alright. So there we go. That's it. We've landed the first base computer. And it's just asking us to build a little bit. So what we're going to do is, until we unlock our scanner, the quickest things that we can get rid of with our multi-tool is these red mushroom things. The yellow ones, they're alright, but we want to save them until we can unlock both things. So we'll burn through a few of these, and then once we've got a few of these done, that's going to give us enough carbon. So really we want to be aiming for about 4, maybe 500 carbon, which only should take you a minute or 2 to collect. But you want to stock up on quite a few bits on this planet, because the planets that are coming are going to be a lot harder. There is a volcano planet that we're going to have to take on. There is mad sentinels on a couple of planets. The sentinel levels just seems to get higher and higher the more you go along, so you end up running around like idiots, and you're going to be planting base computers and you're going to be building bases on other planets anyway, so it saves to stock up on this one. I think it's probably why Hello Games have popped us on a planet where it's nice and paradisey to start with, because otherwise this would have been a right uphill battle. So yeah, what we want to do is we want to grab as many of these as possible. Like I say, do it for about 5 minutes, get about 400 or 500 under your belt, and then you should be alright. The yellow ones, once you scan them, they're going to give you oxygen and they're going to give you carbon, which kills 2 birds. And the stones, the small stones that you can see around us, they're going to give you dihydrogen as well as ferrite, which, to be honest, it saves having to dig up the dihydrogen and also dig up the ferrite separate. If you can do it together, it saves you time and you can burn through this first phase, because this first phase is quite easy, to be honest. It's just introducing you to the mechanics. There's a few things that I'm going to do actually on this first planet, because I've had a bit of a flick through the other phases and the other rewards, and to get them there's a couple of things we're going to have to do on this planet, and I thought to save us backtracking once we get to where we need to be, if we just do the things that are on here. It's like the star bramble on this planet, you need to pick that up before you leave, but you're going to need the hazmat gloves to do it, so I'm not sure how far along you can actually get with it. Something we're going to test later. But yeah, we're going to pop a base down. We're just going to, nice and simple, we'll just put all the sides on like this, keep it 4 squares. I mean, you can, to be honest, you can do this with 1 square if you want to be really utilitarian about it. And then you go, pop your timber arch in, and then just so that you're not messing about and you're just using carbon, just stick 4 panels on it like that. These bases aren't supposed to be anything else than just getting on with it to get these things done. So that unlocks milestone foundation. We've established our base. And the next thing to do is unlock that and see what rewards it gives us. So it's give us a pre-packaged personal refiner, it's give us 200 copper, and analysis visor plans. Analysis visor is what we want, because the analysis visor is going to mean that we can scan the environment around us. We're going to be able to get units for everything that we scan. We're also going to be able to scan objects and see what their secondary resources are, which is going to be brilliant. But this is a right bit of kit, personal refiner. We need that, so we can slap that copper in straight away and set it off with some carbon, because we're going to need that chromatic metal. We're going to need that in a minute, so we'll set that off now. And what we're going to do is we're going to install a carbon nanotube, and we're going to take that over to our multi-tool. Once we've got our scanner, we're going to install that, and then we're going to scan the hell out of everything, get as many units as we can. We're going to go along, we're going to use our mining drill to capture all the different materials that we're going to need. Like I say, we're going to go after dihydrogen, we want pure ferrite, we want condensed carbon, we want carbon, and if you happen upon it, I don't think we get to this yet, I think it's the next planet we do it on, but if you find copper on here, that'll help as well. So here we go, look. So we need three carbon nanotubes, as well as that chromatic metal that we just refined, and that's going to give us our bolt caster, which is our weapon. So there we go, 3 carbon nanotubes, pop them in. We've got our analysis visor done, we've got our bolt caster done, and there we go. So I'm just going to pop in here. Like I say, we need to get some ammunition, so we're going to go after ferrite. So what we're going to do is we're going to jog along here, we're going to scan loads of stuff. So there you go, look, secondary element dihydrogen, so we can get dihydrogen and ferrite from that. That one's pure ferrite and carbon. So once we get the advanced mining laser, once we ping the next tab, get the advanced mining laser, we're going to be able to shoot those down, and that's going to give us pure ferrite every time we do it, which is going to make it easier. These things here, they will give you carbon and condensed carbon, so that's a really good way. You can see there's loads of them littered everywhere. And then the big pink ones that we've been doing, they'll just give you carbon, but if you do scan them anyway, you'll get more. If you actually scan the object, you get more yield from it. So there we go. I'm going to spend about 5 or 10 minutes running around collecting the small pink mushrooms, the small yellow mushrooms, these small rocks like this, and anything else that I happen upon. Feel free to also scan as many animals as you can, because obviously animals will give you quite a bit of units, and you never know, we might come across a moment where we're in a space station, or we happen upon something somewhere where we're going to be able to pull some units and buy some stuff, maybe make our lives a bit easier. But while we're on this planet, we might as well spend 5 or 10 minutes just collecting as much of this as possible. So once we've done all this, we're going to nip back over and we're going to craft a few things. What we need to do is get our exocraft going. We need to craft a few bits and bobs that we're going to need to get our ship going. Head over to our ship, and then we're going to obviously fly off this planet, and that should complete phase 1. So I'm just going to crack on a little bit and do this, and I'll see you guys in a few seconds. Right, so here we go. I've been collecting everything that I can get my hands on. I'm just finishing off this dihydrogen here, and then that's going to allow us to craft some ammunition, which we need to do, and then we're going to craft some dihydrogen, because we need the dihydrogen jelly. And then once we've done that, we can craft life support gel. And then once we've got our life support gel, our ammunition, and we've done our other bits and bobs, just get rid of that geode, and that will unlock provisions, all the survival essentials that we need. And we'll unpin that tab, and then that's going to give us like ion batteries, a few more life support gels and bits and bobs. I think we get the laser, I'm not sure, let's have a look. So we've unlocked base teleport. Base teleport module plans, 5 ion batteries, 5 life support gels, powerful mining beam upgrade, that's the one that we want. So the powerful mining beam upgrade is something that we can attach on our multi-tool, which is going to make our lives a lot easier when we're collecting materials. So let's pop that on there. And then let's jog back over to our base. Let's do the next couple of bits that we need, and then we can start heading over to our ship. So we've got an exocraft to build, but first we need to just upload this base. So come over to your base computer, simple as upload base, and that's it. You've pinged the next tab. Mine takes ages. I'm on PS4 Pro at the moment. I'm crying out for a PS5 because the loading times are starting to get to me a little bit, and I'm missing out on all the funky graphics that you get on next gen for this game, and it really annoys me because I'd love to see them. But yeah, the expedition rewards, ground control complete, the new reward available. We'll just let that ping so we can see what rewards we get for that. I think it gives them some paraffinium and some other bits, because obviously it's going to lead on to the next thing that we need to do, which is the planet link, which is build the exocraft. So yeah, 100 paraffinium, pre-packaged advanced mining laser unit, that's what we want, and the geobay packs. Oh, so we get 3 geobay packs. So yeah, that mining laser tool is what we want, because I think we're going to need some pure ferrite as well as some other bits and bobs if we're going to build this exocraft. So there we go, pop that on there, and that's going to allow you now to mine the larger rocks and the larger plants that were off limits to you beforehand. As you can see, we need metal plating, paraffinium, iron batteries. So we're going to need a bit more ferrite, because I think I've only got enough for 4 of them. Yeah, I have. So we'll just do a bit more mining. It won't take 2 seconds. Once I've figured out what menus I'm supposed to be using. Does anybody else do that? Always click to the wrong menu. It's so annoying. Right, so here we go. Let's just dig some ferrite out. Let's do that last metal plate in. Gather a bit more actually, because we need to do an extra metal plate in for later on, because we're going to need one for our ship, I think. And we're not leaving this base here. We're going to dig this base up, and we're going to move on from this planet. You can leave this base down if you want to. I wasn't sure why I picked it up. I had this idea in my head that I was going to build it next to the ship, so that I didn't have to come back and do anything if I missed any parts, but I didn't realise you just stand here and do it. So it's up to you whether you delete it. You can delete the base if you want to. You can gather the parts from the carbon and stuff like that you've laid down. I suppose it's extra carbon in your pocket. You can pick the base computer up if you want to. As long as you do the few bits that you need to do before you leave this planet. I'm not sure whether you can gather star bramble and the impulse beans which is what you're going to need later on. I know you need hazmat gloves to do it, but I'm not sure whether or not you're going to ping that before you leave this planet. I don't think you are. So it's probably a bad idea actually to delete this to delete this base, which is totally what I ended up doing. I deleted this base, got rid of the base computer, and then realised I would have to dig up some copper so that I could get some more chromatic metal so that I could put another base computer down. So that was my error, I suppose. But before we move on from this planet entirely, we're going to probably gather some more copper anyway, so that we don't have to do it on the other planet. But one tip I will say is, ignore the fact that I'm doing the base now. One tip I will say is, once you've put your exocraft down, make sure you pick up that exocraft geobay, because it will leave your exocraft there, but it also means that you've got it in store now, so you don't have to gather the materials again if you want to put that geobay down, and it saves you doing it. You can take that geobay around with you to every base. Now, yeah, I don't know, what do you reckon? Do you think this was a bad idea? It could have been a bad idea. You can tell I hesitated about it for a minute or two, and I wasn't sure. My idea was to put this down over there so that I was next to the ship, because I had a run through of the first phase a couple of hours before I did this, and my base was all the way over there, and I didn't realise that I needed to craft things for my ship, and I wasn't within 300 U's. So I thought I was saving myself in the end from jogging back, but I don't think it's made any difference at all, other than I've just deleted this base off this planet. But saying that, one of the last things we do before we leave this planet is we go to a colossal archive, which is the first rendezvous point for this bit. So I suppose we could look for a copper deposit. We could gather some copper. We could build our base underneath the colossal archive, and we could leave it there, couldn't we? Because then one thing that is doing is it means I'm providing me with a free landing pad, which means that when I do come back to this planet, or if I need to come back to this planet at any point, just in case I have forgot something, at least I'm not using up Starship launch fuel every time I want to land at my base. So I suppose that's a bonus in a way. But yeah, we jog over here, and yeah, this is what we need the pure ferrite for actually. Because we're going to have to repair our critical Starship systems, which is our launch thrusters and our pulse engine. And I believe we've got the dihydrogen to do the pulse engine, and we've also got the other bit to do the pulse engine, because we crafted it at our base before we left. So let's have a look. So yeah, we need some pure ferrite. We've got the we've got the dihydrogen. That was it. The hermetic seal. That was it. So yeah, we've got the hermetic seal. So make sure before you leave your base for setting off to this ship, make sure you've crafted your hermetic seal, your dihydrogen, you've gathered some pure ferrite, and I think it was the other metal plating, wasn't it? The extra metal plating that we crafted. So I've got some ferrite dust. I've only got 28, but it's an opportunity for me to show you the larger rocks. So as you can see, we scan this rock, and pure ferrite and dihydrogen every time we do this now. But we're going to get a lot more because it's a giant rock. So there's a lot more raw material there. Plus, it saves us refining pure ferrite, because we're going to have to gather more ferrite to refine pure ferrite. See if we can help it. There's a little bit there. We'll use that. I think in the end I'm still going to end up refining some of this ferrite down, because I cannot be bothered to run too far away from my ship, to be honest. So we'll gather a few rocks here. We'll refine down some ferrite dust into pure ferrite. We'll get the ship fixed, and we will get the last rendezvous point done after that, and then that'll be phase 1 done. So about 20 minutes. I think you spend about 20 minutes on phase 1. You can spend, to be honest, you could do the phase in 10 minutes. But I would spend an extra 5 or 10 minutes just gathering a few raw materials. To be honest, it's a paradise planet, it's the first one you're on. Gather some raw materials, just make sure you've got a little bit behind you. It never hurts to have some. Do a bit of scanning, make sure that you have grabbed everything that you are happy to carry before you leave, because like I say, And don't do what I did, don't delete your base computer, because I'm only going to have to start the next episode of this by gathering some copper. Or I might do that, to be honest, in between episodes. I might gather a little bit of copper, I'll see if I can. Re-establish my base computer underneath the arches of the Colossal Archive. Silly me, eh? Never mind, we never learn. But there you go, that's system link. We've restored the ship. So we can jump in this bad boy now if we want to. Oh, actually, one thing we haven't done is we haven't done the travelling on Exocraft for 2,000 U's or whatever it is. So we'll just do the bits and bobs that we get for this, and then we'll run around our ship in our Exocraft, and then we'll move on. So there you go, Starship Launch Fuel, which I've already got the metal plating and dihydrogen for. So if I do need another one, which I have been gifted one, so I can use one, and there's a little bit of fuel in that ship already. So a good way of conserving it is to make sure that if you can, try and use your ship's scanner. You hit your oh well, it's L3 on PlayStation 4, whatever your relevant button is. Tap that analog stick in, and when you're flying about in your ship, and it'll give you a scan out like it does with your exosuit, and you're going to be able to see little blue buildings. Now sometimes those blue buildings are going to have landing pads on them or something like that, or they're going to have little landing areas, which is not going to cost you any fuel. Like you can see, I didn't want to travel too far, so I just thought I'd do a few rings to do laps around the ship, like a victory lap or something for leaving the planet. But yeah, just do this to make sure you've covered that 2,000 U's. But yeah, if you can, use your ship's scanner and make sure that you land on as many landing pads as you can. Which, to be honest, most of the time you're going to be landing on Colossal Archives or trade stations with this expedition. So yeah, it's going to save you on the launch fuel. It means you're not going to have to constantly keep stocking that up. But first opportunity when you get into space, definitely hit an asteroid field and grab some tritium just to keep fueling yourself up. So there we go, we've travelled 2,000 U's by Exocraft. We've got the scenic route. We'll unpin that, see what rewards we got for it, and then all that's left to do is go over to the outpost, the first one. So pre-packaged Icarus fuel system units, Exocraft engine upgrades, Exocraft technology blueprints. Yeah, that's awesome. What we're going to do is we're going to keep the Nomad as our primary Exocraft throughout this entire expedition. So we're going to pile everything into that. Like I say, we've picked up the Geobay materials because we collapsed our Geobay, so we've always got enough materials to do that. And yeah, we can build this wherever we want as long as we keep picking it up. So let's put all the technology into that and make it as awesome as we can. Right, so here we go. Let's jump in the ship and see what they've got to say. Welcome, Utopia settler. Welcome to the Utopia Foundation Communal Habitation Project. Industry in the system has been disrupted, space station trade has fallen into recession, manufacturing efficiency has been turned down to 80-odd%. Let's work in harmony, rebuild, renew, restore. Together we can construct a new civilization. Utopia takes the very best care of all settlers. Ooh, right, here we go. What is the Utopia Foundation? I think that's the burning question. Are we the Utopia Foundation? Who's asking us to do this? Right, so Utopia Outpost Alpha located. Reach the outpost to register your success upon this world. So it's almost like it's some sort of rebuilding project, isn't it? It's like resettling. Which means if they are resettling these worlds, does it mean they've already resettled? Does it all mean they've already settled these worlds once? Oh, stuff like this. Honestly, little bits of lore like this really get me. Because it's like, right, who is the Utopia Foundation? What are their aims? What are they about? Are we going to get to find out little bits about them as we go on? Are we going to unlock little bits of story about them? What's the mystery and intrigue behind them? Why do they need our help? I always think there's something nefarious going on. I always think there's something a bit shady and shadowy. But if they're introducing the Utopia Foundation into an expedition, does that mean that's going to cross over into the main game? Are we going to find that there is now a new faction within the main game possibly coming in the future, the Utopia Foundation? Some sort of organisation that's put itself together, that's recruiting travellers and getting us to repopulate abandoned worlds, or worlds where things aren't settled already? What's all that about? Is this a new race that's coming into it? You never know, little things, isn't it? I mean, for a long time the Titan worm babies weren't on planets after the expedition, but now they are. There's a few other things that have come over from expeditions, isn't there? Eventually they bleed into the game, so I wonder, are we seeing the birth of a new faction? Or are we seeing the birth of a new kind of quest line, or a new kind of building structure, or a game mechanic that we're going to be able to do? Are we going to be able to, is this going to tie into our settlements almost? Like, you know, is this going to tie into what we've been doing with settlements? Is this the next part of settlements? Because obviously settlements did so much, didn't it? And then it's just kind of halted. So are we getting a little bit more of that? Exciting times, guys and girls. Exciting times. I love anything like this. Hopefully it's not just going to be for this expedition and then Hello Games abandoned it, because let's not forget the fact that they were running weekend missions and they had the whole story with Ariane and everything like that, and the World of Glass, and they have left us on a cliffhanger now for a very long time. So if you're listening, Sean and the team, you need to get on that. You need to finish that quest line. If you're building up to it with all these expeditions and this is what's coming, which I've honestly, since the first expedition, I think it was Beachhead, since the first expedition, or was it Beachhead? I can't remember now. Anyway, right back at the beginning, the way those things were being done, I was sat there thinking, is this expeditions going to be used to build and build and build into it, and then we're going to launch into that Ariane quest line, and we're going to finish that off, and that's like more of the end game? We don't know. But anyway, let's have a look at what we're doing. The Utopia Outpost Alpha. Identify yourself using this terminal. Right, cool. Verifying settler credentials. Here we go. Login successful. Utopia thanks you for your prompt registration. Please proceed to the Outpost Beta. Right, okay, so that's it. Outpost Alpha done. Settled the first planet. Milestone complete. We've completed phase 1, gave us some faction posters, night squad posters, planetary base posters. That night squad poster's well cool. Has anyone seen it yet? It is well cool, and it's definitely going up on my wall once I've finished this. So there we go. We got some triple burst fireworks, which are useless. We got some inventory slot, ooh, 3 of them, that's good, and a planetary chart, and 1,200 nanites. Now, nanites are good, because we're going to be getting unlockable technology. We're going to be building a lot of technology units in our outposts and things, and we're going to be all sorts of things going on later on. So yeah, nanites are good at this point. So but there we go, phase 1 completed. We'll pick up in the next video. I'll have a play around, see or not if I can gather some copper and just put my base down underneath here. But yeah, absolutely, not a bad start to it at all. And honestly, if this is the start of a bit more storyline that can come into the game, I'm very excited. I've got a lot of questions. I hope the expedition answers some of them. But for now, thank you very much, guys. It's good to be back. It's good to see you all. Take care of your sends. I will see you promptly in phase 2, because I'm going to crack straight on with it. But for now, take care of your sends, guys. It's good to see you, and be good wherever you are. Bye bye. Thank you very much for watching the video, everybody. We really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please consider giving the channel a like and a subscribe. Hit the bell notification as well to keep up to date with everything that we're doing. We really appreciate those likes and subscribe, guys. They keep us going. Thank you so much. We just want to take a second to say thank you to our Creative Club members and also our Creative Club graduates that you can see on the screen now. You guys are rock and rollers. Thank you so much. If you want to join the membership, hit the button below, come over and join the members club with us. Every single member will get a free Adventures of Murray comic and all sorts of other little bits and bobs that we throw in there as well, so it's really worth it, guys. But if you want to support the channel, like it, subscribe it, don't skip the ads. You're really helping us out. We appreciate every single last one of you, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. So for now, take care, guys. We'll see you soon.